Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, because right now, guys, we are breaking out. We are breaking above this descending line of resistance that I have been talking about this entire way, even when we were trading all the way down here at 53,000 US dollars or so. So now in about 6 hours, we are getting a daily candle close above this line of resistance. And what I want to do in this video, guys, is give you some things to look out for with this breakout to confirm that it is actually a breakout and not going to be a fake out where next week when the Bitcoin ETFs start trading again, you actually get a massive dump to the downside and you are not prepared for it, okay? So I'm going to help you prepared for this next week here. And the way I see it is like you can already go long here and then just hope that this just continues pumping. But the less confirmation signals you have, the more risky it is. So on this 4-hour time frame, we have some candle closes. This daily candle is probably also going to close above. So that is like that first confirmation signal. Another confirmation signal would actually be if we go back down to retest this trend line and then get a bounce out of there. Especially if you take a look at the volume here, get that bounce with a spike in volume here. If you see something like that, it becomes more and more likely that we are actually getting that breakout to the upside. Now, it doesn't have to come down here. That's important to remember. But at the very least, you would need to see like some kind of volume, like to see more volume in the market here, because this is just very low volume from what I can see on this 4-hour time frame, which does make me a little bit skeptical, because the only thing we are going off of here is basically saying, well, we broke this trend line and therefore we must pump. For me personally, at least, that is a little bit too risky. And I would like to see a little bit more confirmation. It could be more candle closes above. It can also just be those two other things that I just mentioned. So going to this daily time frame then, looking at the RSI momentum indicator, here you can see that we are basically reversing in the RSI. We're going back to around this 50 level. However, there is still this downtrend on the 1-day RSI. Right here, you can see that we got rejected from this trend line 3 times already. And now we are potentially coming in for that 4th test of the trend line. And this specifically is something that I'm looking out for in the market. If I see another rejection here, yes, I think it is likely that we are going to see more bearish momentum, at least in the immediate short term after that. However, with trend lines like this, it becomes more and more likely that we are going to break the trend line with every touch point after the 5th one, right? So this would be number 4, maybe you get another leg down. This would be number 5, and then right here becomes more and more likely that we are actually going to break the trend line, although of course it could already be here. So that is something that I'm looking out for as well. Taking a look at the Fibonacci levels, we broke above the 0.236 Fibonacci level, sitting at about 57.7K, and are right now testing the 0.382 Fibonacci level, sitting at 60.4K. So these are 2 important levels to pay attention to. And of course, if we see a confirmed break of this trend line, potentially again with a retest and then a resumption from there, then you need to start looking higher. For example, this 0.5 Fibonacci level sitting at 62.6K. So those are some important levels to pay attention to. And now moving on to the support and resistance levels on this daily time frame for Bitcoin. Yesterday, we got that confirmed candle close, finally above this big level of now support. Previously, this was resistance. But of course, after we got that daily candle close, then I could finally flip this into a level of support. And it is sitting from 58K all the way down to 56,000 US dollars. Now, as soon as we got that confirmed candle close above this level of support, we immediately reached into this next level of resistance above that, where we are currently testing it, sitting from 60,000 all the way up to 62.4K. And I would even say there is some short-term resistance as high as 63,000 US dollars, because we have this previous high right here. So that is something to look out for as well. And in terms of like, if we actually get a rejection, now that this is a level of support, we can say that we might get a bounce from this level right here between 58 all the way down to 56,000 US dollars once again. Now moving on to the Bitcoin liquidation heat maps. First of all, on this 3-day time frame, Right now, there is a lot of liquidity to the upside at about 60.6K. And if we do sweep this liquidity to the upside right here, then potentially we can get a short-term reversal back down. So this is important to pay attention to if we see this price. However, we also have a lot of liquidity at about 57K. So potentially, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but maybe you will get something like this, where you actually get this move all the way down to retest right here, then get a big bounce out of there, right? So I'm just saying that is potentially something to look out for, because we have to be mindful of these big levels of liquidity, considering that typically the Bitcoin price gets attracted to where there is the most liquidity on this chart. And if we take out this big level right here, then on this time frame at least, this would be the biggest level of liquidity on this chart. And zooming out to this 3-month time frame, you can also see that a lot of liquidity is piled up towards the upside, sitting at 72.3K. So as I have been saying, even when we were all the way down here, guys, and I just kept repeating it over and over again, so long as we are trading inside this descending channel, which the support of is currently sitting at about 55.6K. So long as we hold that as a level of support, it is completely possible that we go back to the top of the range once again. And if you have been watching my recent videos, you know that I was even saying that when everyone was bearish right here. And I was saying, guys, we are still just inside the range. Nothing is really going on as far as I'm concerned. We are just consolidating in this pattern so long as we are trading inside this pattern, right? So long as we are inside it, nothing is really going on. We can go to the bottom of the range and we can go to the top of the range as well. This has been today's market update. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.